Hello and welcome to all football fans in India and across the world. As we promised, we've got a very special Facebook Live session just for you guys. We've got a very special guest who's joining us, who's played at the highest level in England, in France, in the Netherlands, and represented his country in a World Cup as well. And then he's decided to ply his trade in India, not just one club, a couple of clubs. And he's also done some punditry on television. Let me welcome Kerala Blasters man, Bartholomew Ogbeche. Bart, such a pleasure to have you with us on this Facebook Live session. How are you feeling, first of all? Nice and relaxed?
I'm feeling great, and thanks for having me. Thanks for the invitation.
Is that what you call Bart, or are there any other pet names that you've got going around which we haven't come to know of yet?
Probably there might be some that I haven't come to know of yet, but Bart is okay, Bartholomew is okay,
yeah,
Bartholomew is okay. So
we'll go with Bart. We'll go with Big Bart. Now, obviously, you know what this is about. So the fans have been pouring in with their questions. They want to ask you a lot of things about Kerala Blasters, about your season, about your time in the Hero Indian Super League. So we'll come to that as time goes along, Bart. But I've got to ask you, and I think this has been playing on all our minds for the longest time. What made you come to India after those 4.5 seasons back in the Netherlands?
That's a good question. What made me come to India? I think the fact that the football, developed over time.
Yeah.
Because at the start, it was pretty much a short league. And it wasn't an idea that I was going to potentially entertain, when the ISL got started.
Yeah.
But it grew over time. A lot of progress has been made. And just before, I think that also, of course, got to help me, change my mind of, about what I thought about the ISL at the start. And I had a few ex-teammates that were also playing here at the time, a couple of seasons ago. And so when the opportunity came of coming to India, I went to them. I wanted to get some feedback about how the country was, about how the league was, and the infrastructures and all that. And I got some really very brilliant feedback from them, and that helped me to make my mind.
So you didn't just jump on the ship straight away. You had to do your thorough research from all your former colleagues and former teammates as well. Can you name some of those players who you played alongside and who eventually came to India and played in the ISL?
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't jump on the ship straight away, just like you said. Yeah, because I was a little bit
apprehensive.
I was apprehensive, absolutely, and I needed to get something that was gonna get my my decision going. And one of those is actually Rafa Lopez. We know he played for Pune FC, back then.
That's right, yeah.
And then he was at Hyderabad just the past season. And he's been one of my closest friends. We were together at La Liga, at Valladolid. We played together for a couple of seasons. And I got to know he was here, and he was the one I actually turned out, to get some news about the league and all that.
Yeah.
And he actually advised me to give it a go if I really wanted to come to this part of the world.
Yeah, interesting. And it was easy convincing your family as well?
It wasn't that easy, I must say.
So who was the difficult person in the family who didn't let you come straight away?
It wasn't that easy, I must say, because I still had a lot of offers in Europe. I still had a lot of clubs, after my last season in Netherlands, trying to convince me to stay behind in the Netherlands as well as other countries there in Europe. And it wasn't that easy, going that far. So I had to talk, of course, to my immediate family, my wife and my kids. They're still small, so they don't get to understand that much. But all they just wanted was for me to be happy. They wanted me to be happy, and they don't mind if I'm going to be here or in Europe or in Australia, whatever it is in the world. They just want to see me happy and doing what I love most. So it wasn't an easy one because I also had to convince myself that I was taking the right decision.
Yeah.
So I gave it a thought now and then, and I must say, finally, I got my immediate family going, with me, and I told them, listen, I wasn't looking forward to having a long-term contract. It's going to be short-term.
Yeah.
I'll see how I fare when I get there, and if all works according to plan, if all goes well, then why not make it something we're going to stay longer. So I signed a short-term contract.
Yeah.
Had an amazing time, loved it, and here am I.
Well, look at you. You've not just made your family happy, you've also made plenty of fans happy. As you can see with the questions coming in rapidly on Facebook as well. And keep chiming in with your comments and your questions as well, because we got Big Bart sitting next to us. And I've got a few already with me. And let's not forget, you've made fans from Guwahati all the way to Kochi, happy as well. So you're a top goal scorer in the history of 2 football clubs in the ISL, which is not a mean feat whatsoever. But since we told people well in advance that you're going to be joining us on this Facebook live session, we got some questions coming in nice and early, those early bird questions, as we call them. Let me throw a difficult one at you first up, because that's a question that's been playing on pretty much everybody's mind, which is, let's go with Gary Alex. Can we see you as a coach?
Gary Alex.
That's from Instagram, by the way.
Yeah. At the minute, I will say no.
Okay.
I will say
you want to play some more?
But never say never. That might change in future, but that's not in my agenda. And I don't see myself as a coach in future. So at the minute, the response will be no.
All right. So Gary Alex, thank you so much for your question. You've got your answer there. The answer is no, not a coach just yet. Alina Ibrahim says, what do you love most about Kerala? You spend so much time there. Even when you were playing for Northeast, you spent some time there.
What do I love most? Kerala Blasters Football Club.
There you go. Sure, that's made a few people happy. But apart from that, have you traveled around in Kerala and seen a few things?
I've gone to a few places. I went to Alape, did the houseboat riding and all that.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed every minute of it. And I also went to the waterfalls, at not just at Alape, also at what's the name again? It's not coming to mind, but
Atirapalli Waterfalls.
Atirapalli.
That's the one.
There you go. Thanks for your help.
No problem.
Yeah, so I've been to. It's called God's own country for a reason.
Yeah.
It has pretty much everything. You have to love Kerala. You really have to love Kerala. And I must say, even last season when I was at Northeast, I had the opportunity of. I had an advice from a very good friend.
Yeah.
And I spent Christmas and New Year at in Kochi and afterwards at Varkala.
Yeah.
These are areas in Kerala, and I fell in love with the state, and like I said, now I'm living there, and like I said, it's called God's own country for a reason. So you gotta love Kerala.
I completely agree with that. And the other one, that since you mentioned Kerala and Kerala Blasters about 50 times in that answer, which shows how close you are to that.
Yeah.
Everybody's been asking, how long are you going to be at Kerala? Are you going to be there for another season? And I can't take a name here because there's so many people who've asked exactly that question. So thank you everyone for asking that. Now Bart has to answer it. So that's the difficult bit.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. All I can say at the minute is that it's going to be made known shortly.
Okay.
It's going to be made known shortly. So I will have to say we have to be patient, for a few more days, if I may say, or probably weeks. But that's going to be made. It's going to be brought out in the public, in the open shortly.
So give us a date and a time, possibly, when it'll be announced.
I wish I could be more precise. I wish I could be more, but at the minute, I don't think it's going to take too long. But we're all going to know shortly.
All right. Well, thanks for that. These are the early bird questions that have come through Instagram and Facebook bot. And let's not forget, there's an early bird ticket contest that's happening with the Hero Indian Super League. All you have to do is just log on to indiansuperleague.com. The big finals on the 14th, and the first 4,000 entries will be considered. And the top 10 guys get to win tickets to go to Goa and watch that final, which will be a riveting contest between the two-time champions. I've got a champion sitting next to me, so I'm going to jump straight to the questions that are coming in, and they're pouring in literally. There's Manu Thomas, who said, thanks, Manu, for your question. I'll jump to Prem Kumar's question, who says, who's your favorite football player in the world? Who's next Chhetri in India? So he's asked two questions. Favorite footballer in the world and who's the next Chhetri in India?
Two in one. He wants to have everything, doesn't he?
He's got two names as well.
My favorite player has always been Ronaldo, the Brazilian Ronaldo.
Okay, right.
Nazario da Lima. And the next question was, who is next? Who is the next
Chhetri in India?
Sahal.
Sahal's the next
Sahal
Chhetri?
Abdul Samadia.
Kerala Blasters, yeah.
Next
This is a bonus round for Kerala Blasters because that's also a Kerala player. We'll get to Sahal possibly a little later on. I'm sure there'll be some Sahal questions coming to you. Let's go to Hari Krishnan. Hari's question. He says, hi, boss. He's called you boss, so that's another nickname for you now. Who's your best friend in Kerala Blasters?
Best friend in Kerala Blasters? I'm pretty much good with everyone. So, best friend in Kerala Blasters. That's a good one.
I thought that would be an easy one for you.
Not that easy.
Okay.
Not that easy,
you can name a few. You don't have to say one.
Yeah, I could name a few. Okay. So, but he said, who is? So
you want to name one. All right. I was making it easier for you.
Thanks for making it easy. Since he said, who is, I'll go for who are my best friends. So, Gianni Zavelan.
Okay.
Sidoncha.
Sidoncha, okay. Anybody else? Any
Of
Indians in there?
course, Rahul, KP,
Rahul KP, okay.
Samuel.
Yeah.
Those are a few that I can go. I can just.
We just left with 22 players in the squad now, Bart. Right, moving on. Bindu Malan Kavukal. I'm really sorry if I got the pronunciation wrong, but thank you, Bindu, for your question. Who do you miss in KBFC? There have been a few injuries during the rounds. You haven't got a chance to play alongside Sandesh because of the injury, even before the season.
That's correct.
But if there's one person you'd miss in Kerala Blasters?
If there's one person I missed in Kerala Blasters, yeah, like you said, there were a few injuries which actually didn't get us on a plain sailing ride like we would have anticipated. So who do I miss? Tough one, really. Tough one, really.
Anyone?
I miss pretty much a lot of guys. I don't think it's going to be fair just to point out one single player.
All right, so we won't be unfair then.
No, it will be unfair.
Okay. All right, fair enough. We'll go to the next one. This is a good one. And there are a few good ones coming. My apologies, I can't take all of them. But the one that catches my eye, Praveen Thambi has said, "Hi Bart, tough match of the season." I think Praveen's trying to say the toughest match of the season. Let's not forget, at the end of this round, you have to also pick your favorite question, and the one you pick gets a signed match ball from you as well. So
all right.
Try and remember the questions that you like the most. Maybe this one, Praveen Thambi, toughest match of the season for you.
Toughest match of the season has to be against Chennaiyin FC.
You got the hat trick.
Where I got a hat trick, yeah, and it turned out to be the toughest game because that was when the curtain closed on our season, on our hopes of making it to the playoffs. So that had to be the toughest, and I would have gone before the game. I would have gone to bet anything that we're going to make it through, go through that game. Not, of course, not easily, but it turned out to be a nightmare for all of us, and that is one I pick out as the toughest game of the season.
But there was belief in the dressing room. If I could just add to that question, there was belief that Kerala Blasters will make it despite the difficult start and the round of injuries and all the problems that were there.
Absolutely. I think the injuries and everything turned us into a scrappy team. We kind of had at the start we got shocked. When we lost to Sandesh. Afterwards, it was a different player. Going into the game, and just a day before the game, you also get to hear that a player or two are out of squad. So at the start, it was hard to take, but afterwards, we kind of had this open-mindedness, about it all, and it turned us into a scrappy team, like I said, and that pluckiness just made us to approach other games, with that steely belief that we could win against anyone. So I can tell you there was absolutely a strong belief in the dressing room.
I'm sure that stems from you as well, because you were leading that side out, and you got the experience of playing pretty much everywhere. Which takes us to Forza India Academy Football's question. It says, "Hello Bart, how was it like playing alongside two legendary number 10s, Ronaldinho and JJ Okocha? Any advice you got from them you want to share with us?"
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I can say there are a lot of things I took on board. It was just a privilege for me to have been able to share dressing rooms with those players. It became my very, very good friends. And I must say, JJ Okocha at the start, when I was in the youth team, I had his posters all over in my room.
Right.
I never thought, it was crazy for me to get to play alongside him. I never thought, for a minute that I was going to have, that fortune to be beside him. And I was lucky enough. I got off to an early start, and I saw myself on the pitch with him. I think during my time, he probably gave me the most assists than other players did, and we became roommates actually. So
right. Okay.
From my hero, dream player, and we became roommates. So
share some secrets as well with sharing a room
I'm not
with
gonna
the
go
big
too
man.
far. I'm not going to go too far. But
Right.
then, like I said, we became roommates, and of course, Ronaldinho at the time was also young. I was obviously the youngest player, and I didn't have my driving license then. So in order to get to the training ground, I needed somebody to give me a ride. And I can tell you, these two players, it was either JJ Okocha or Ronaldinho coming by to pick me up at my.
That's
my
a privilege,
place.
isn't it? Yeah.
What a privilege!
Yeah.
I kept on pinching myself too. So yeah, that's it's a fact that I took a lot of advices from them. What stands out most is their humility, in spite of the fact that these are legends. Top number 10s, top players. Their will to work hard every day. Get better at training every now and then.
Yeah.
And you look at yourself and you ask yourself, who are you? Who are you? If they can peg away that much, why can't you do the same or more? So there are a lot of things I had to take from them, and also during tough times, because things will not always go the way you want them to go.
Yeah.
And that's when the mental aspect comes into play. And if I learned from any of these players, was obviously more from Jejo Kocha, because we also not only with Paris Saint-Germain, we also got to play together, in the Nigerian national team.
Yeah.
And he was closest to me, obviously, than Ronnie. And whenever I needed anything or I struggled a bit or whatever, if there was someone I could turn to for an advice or something, it was him, and he was always there, no matter the time that I had to ring him or anything. So I took a lot of advice from these guys, and like I said, it's just a privilege. I'm just blessed to have been able to share, dressing room with some of the greatest players of all time.
I think, yeah, absolutely. You kind of gave it away. I was going to ask you, who will you pick amongst the two if you were to play just one, alongside you? And I think I've already got my answer, JJ Okocha. Right, we'll move to Abhishek's question, who says, what about Rafael Messi Boli? Tell us about that relationship with Messi. I'm sure he means on and off the pitch, because you've been on fire together on the pitch as well.
Yeah. Actually, he's a great guy. He's an amazing person, and he's somebody who always wants to work hard. We see the way he plays, on game days, but I can tell you he trains just the same way. He's somebody that's always going to put that fear into the defender's mind.
Yeah.
He's always going to be handful for you. And I think at the start, when he came, he was quite calm and quiet, but afterwards, he kind of opened up more. And we could see, that synergy between us as the games progressed, because at the start we weren't playing that much together. And as we started getting to play together on the field, that synergy just kept on growing, and which was fantastic for the team. He's an amazing person, he's very humble, down to earth.
Yeah.
He's always willing to learn, and I think it's helped. He just had the season of his life, actually. And if there's one thing one can think about, is that he's going to build on that, and he wants to progress from there.
Yeah.
And I'm sure as time goes on, he's going to learn more and he's going to do better. But I have an amazing relationship with him.
Yeah.
He looks up to me, obviously, like a big brother. And of course, I have to take that responsibility, because just like the way I talked about Ronnie and Jejo Kocha, they were the same to me, when I was younger. And so with their experience, I could learn so much. And so I obviously think with my experience,
you can pass it on to
Rafael Messi Boli could also go on and learn. And he's willing to learn. So I think as time goes on, he's going to make that known to the world. But I can tell you he's an amazing human being on and off the pitch.
Fantastic, Messi. If you're watching this, you hear it from the big man as well. There's a question from Anant Tyagi on behalf of all the Kerala fans, which is Messi Boli staying in Kerala Blasters as well? I just added that because I wanted to know myself.
I wish I knew.
You're not giving it away either. Right, moving on. Soma Malik's actually asked, it could be a one-word answer from you. Who will be the ISL champion?
In my opinion, Chennaiyin FC. So
you're backing Chennai to win this? Because they have form, momentum, or do you think there's...
Because of everything around them. I think they find themselves now in a position where it was improbable after the first 4 or 5 games of the season. And they've been lucky enough to make that change, the right time, got in the right person who's been able to turn these players that were pretty much like, no disrespect, but pretty much like shadow of themselves, at the start of the league. And now they just look unstoppable. They just look like those juggernauts, actually. And I think, people might say they've punched above their weights when you turn back and look at the way they got their campaign started.
Yeah.
But I think they've built on that. They've been unstoppable, reached the finals like what many people expected.
Yeah.
So I don't see them stopping there. I think they're just going to go on with that joy, with that confidence, and with that free flow in football that Owen Coyle has brought into the squad. And those are the reasons why I think, it's not going to be easy for them, because they'll be up against a tough opposition. But I see them going all the way.
That's an early call, and I wouldn't be surprised if that happens as well because we'll trust you to having scored a few hat tricks against Chennai in the ISL and scored 2 goals against ATK in the opening game of the season. But what did you make of the semi-finals in general, Bob? Because it was a very interesting matchup. So Chennai Goa, a lot of people fancy the first ever official Hero ISL League winners Goa to go through and possibly lift the trophy, which didn't happen. And the other one where Bengaluru were only the third side to go into a second leg of the semi-final with a lead and then having to bear the ignominy of falling short.
Yeah, it's been spectacular. It's been spectacular to say the least. We've witnessed some outstanding games, from the 4 sides. I must say congratulations to the 4 of them for having made it to the ISL. So the ISL playoffs, and we witnessed some games that nobody would have been able to predict. Actually, when you start with the Chennaiyin game at home against the FC Goa, the league winners. We thought it was going to be, an amazing game. A game we all anticipated with delight, and it was a finale that no one would have been able to script. It couldn't have been scripted because you wouldn't have expected Goa to concede 4 goals against Chennaiyin FC and
6 overall, yeah.
6 overall,
yeah.
And so I think we've all enjoyed, the 4 games we've watched in the playoffs, and. It's lived up to its billing, actually, up probably much more than what anyone anticipated. So I think Chennai deserved finalists, and so ATK because they lost against the best, defensive liner in the ISL, and you would not expect them to concede 3 goals, will you? And ATK, we saw that resoluteness in them. We saw that steely belief in all the players, and with their home fans or cheering and pushing them, they were able to overturn the 1-0 defeat, in the first leg. And so I think we've all enjoyed, an intriguing game last night and also the night before. So I think that's just fantastic for ISL. Fantastic for us.
Let me put you on the spot. Out of the 4 semi-finals, or should we say 2 semi-finals over 2 legs, which one did you enjoy the most? Which leg would you have enjoyed the most?
I think the one where after the game I just shouted "Jeepers Creepers." I think
which one was that?
I think that was Chennai FC against FC Goa.
Right. Okay. You weren't in studio for that, correct?
I was in the studio for that, and I was like, "Holy moly!" That would never have been. A result any of us would have anticipated. So I think that was the one I enjoyed the most.
Could have been
I must say that of yesterday was also an intriguing one.
Yeah.
But the scoreline in the first leg against the league winners who've been pretty much, steamrolling all their opponents all the way to the playoffs was the most surprising one for me.
And of course now with a heavy heart, I have to tell you that the Golden Boot might be lost, because Roy Krishna has taken the lead with that goal yesterday. But between Roy Krishna and Valskis, who are you picking to win the Golden Boot in the final? Because that's another battle we're all watching out for on the 14th.
Yeah, that's correct. Roy Krishna, I've always, actually from the start, I knew the odds were against me. So it wasn't going to be an easy one for me, but it wasn't going to be impossible neither. Yeah. And I tipped, at the start, I tipped Koro to go ahead. It didn't happen. And the second on the list was always going to be Roy Krishna. I think he now looks pretty much good to, he's in the front row, and he looks pretty much good to go ahead and win it.
Yeah.
And I will still stand by that. I think Roy Krishna is ahead at the moment of Vasquez. He might prove us wrong.
Get a hat trick maybe. Who knows?
Never know. Who knows? But I still think it will be tough for Vasquez, and I see Roy Krishna going ahead to take that back home.
And just one more on the final. So Roy Krishna is your pick for that. In terms of the Indian players, the 1 or 2 you most looking forward to watching in that final?
Anirudh Thapa, without a doubt. I'm looking forward to watching Anirudh Thapa without a doubt in the finals, and also Prabir Das.
All right, brilliant. Yeah, Prabir Das was on fire as well in that second leg. Right, we'll move on to some questions. In fact, I saw one just swim past, which was from Anant Prabhakaran, which said Ogbeche at Northeast United or Ogbeche at Kerala Blasters. Which one is more confident or was more confident?
Both. They're on the same wavelength. I must say they're on the same wavelength. It was a massive challenge to go to Northeast, a team that had never made it to the playoffs before, and coming off a really very poor season.
Yeah.
And it wasn't an easy decision for me to come to India. And after taking that decision to come to India, I had to go to a club that hadn't, been on top. So I don't like easy choices anyway. I pretty much find out that most of the times I'm up against tough choices, and so I had to come out with the best of myself, perseverance, determination, everything, to help the team get to where we were able to get to. And so I think that mindset hasn't changed. It's still the same. I only build on that, and I try to get better as a player and as a person. So I'll take both.
All right. Okay. Hopefully that answers your question. Ashish Sudhir has, I think he sent us a question earlier. I might have missed it. But I spotted it and it said, Jessel and Prashant. He wanted to know your reaction on both the players and who do you think you've enjoyed playing with or against in training the most?
In training, I must say both are amazing players. One is a defender, one is obviously an attacking player, which makes it a little bit not a fair comparison, if we have to go into that. But I have to say JSL. Why? Because this is his first season, at the highest level. Playing in ISL at the highest level is not easy for a player like JSL. And Prashant, he's had that experience, so he's more experienced compared to JSL, even though he's younger. But and that is in the case with JSL. So I have to say JSL coming into the ISL for the first time and having such an amazing season. I think it's one has to say, one has to just take off his hat for his performance this season. So Prashant knows I love him very much.
You don't want to make anyone unhappy.
I have to say JSL for his performances during his first season.
All right, and he had a great season as well. This is a good one from Jishnu. This is somebody completely unrelated to the football that we've been talking about. How's the Kerala food? You've tried some? You liked it?
Yeah, of course. I've tried many, and I love it. The only thing is, just get the spices off the way for me. I don't want anything hot. So
you spend enough time now in India. Too.
I have. I'm trying to get there, but the thing is, when I say just a little bit, it's always too much. It's always overwhelming. So
when you say no spice, they'll add a bit.
When I say no spice, they get a bit. And when I said no spice, they say, but there's nothing.
Okay.
Which doesn't make it any easy for me. So that's getting me step by step closer to where you are, but I think I'm still far away from, what they consider to be a medium spice or whatever. But yeah, I've had a lot of Kerala dishes and I love them.
So which is why they'd ask you to stay on for more seasons at Kerala Blasters so that you can get used to the spice and the food over there. Why not? Then, there's another question about where you're playing next season, so I'll skip that one. Midun Jose asks, thoughts about Indian youngsters in ISL and who do you think the most promising one is this season? And you can pick one from Kerala Blasters as well if you want.
Yeah, there are a lot of, there've been great progress, amongst a lot of Indian youngsters. And I will say, at the minute, of course, I will go for Rahul KP, who is my teammate. I watch him train every day. I see how he is, and also Jixon. Yeah. These are really two magnificent human beings and players, but they're yet to, of course, fill in their full potential. And if I have to get out of Kerala Blasters, because I think that wouldn't be fair just to, put my teammates, on top, I'll have to go for Suresh. Suresh
Wangjam?
Suresh Wangjam with defending champions, Bengaluru. I think that's been, for me, the most promising Indian youngster of this ISL 2019-2020 season.
And the best foreigner? You can't say yourself.
The best foreigner, I can't say myself, so I have to say it's Bumu. Ugo Bumu by far has been, for me, the best foreigner this season.
All right. Right. Next one from Amal Vijayan, which says, which team style of play in this year's ISL inspired you? I think he doesn't want you to say Kerala Blasters.
If you don't want me to say Kerala Blasters, I'll have to start by saying Kerala Blasters, but let's leave Kerala Blasters on the side, and I'll go on to say the style that I admired most has to be FC Goa style.
Yeah, because it's free-flowing or...
Free-flowing, the patience, and of course it comes down to the fact that they've all been together or most of them have been together for a couple of seasons, so... Yeah. The automatism, the understanding is just there. You don't need to think too much before you know what your teammate is going to do, the kind of runs he's going to make. So that made their style of play really very entertaining and really very lovely to watch.
Well, you were lovely to watch in Northeast as well, which is why, Maridin Martin has said Northeast FC will always be missing you. Thank you so much. I'm sure he misses the fans over there as well, the Highlander Brigade who keep singing loud and proud. Another question on young talent, so you've already answered that. Another one on food. A lot of people asking about Kerala food. So they really want you to adapt to that spice and in a hurry then, Bart. There's a question on refereeing, which I'd wanted to take from you because you've been the closest to them. And I'd ask it in a way that Rahul Raj has said, your views about ISL refereeing, but I want to add to that in terms of what's the kind of pressure that the referees have on the pitch and that you've noticed, from close quarters?
It's not easy for referees because
there's been a lot of talk about refereeing in general this season.
Yeah, that's true. There's always room for improvement for everyone and for referees, of course. And compared to last season, I must say they've made some progress. I've seen they've made some positive steps forward. They're under a lot of pressure. They always have to deliver. They always have to get out their decision spot on. When they get it wrong, it hurts me, and you're going to be happy that you got the fair or the decision from the referee. So it's not always very easy for them. I also think we have a part to play in that. We have to help them, because they get a lot of ticks when decisions go wrong. But we all have to try and help them. And but like I said, I think there's a lot of room for improvement for referees. Because sometimes there are decisions that make you think, how did they ever get to take that kind of a decision, or how didn't they how did they miss that? So I must say, compared to last season, because I've just been here for a couple of seasons now, so compared to last season, there's been progress, but there's still a lot. There's still plenty to be done.
I'm sure they're listening as well. So there's something to work on. And I mean, this is work in progress. The Hero ISL in general, try and take a step forward every single year.
That's true.
Got 290 goals in 94 matches this time. What a cracking season we have. Only 15 from you, Bart. We're disappointed. Yeah, like I said, top goal scorer for two sides outright. You must be very proud of that effort in particular. I've got another question for you. You answered that about Northeast, so I will jump to Albin Verghese, who talks about goalkeeping and how that could have an effect on Kerala Blasters' season. What have you made of goalkeeping in general, first of all? Because they're all Indian goalkeepers apart from, I think, Doran Soro, who played for Odisha, rather.
Yeah, I think India has a lot of good goalkeepers, to be honest. I think it isn't a secret that Odisha is the only team who's signed a foreign goalkeeper. Otherwise, many other teams would have done just that. But that tells a lot, that speaks volume about the goalkeeping quality in the country. But I think, of course, they also have to make a lot of progress, and that comes down not just to the goalkeepers themselves, but having a good goalkeeping coach.
Yeah.
I don't think the goalkeepers have a lot of top quality coaches that they need, to make that step forward. But all that being said, I can only talk about the few I know. I cannot talk about other clubs.
Yeah, for sure.
So from what I can see, goalkeepers are really very good, but they have to put in more training. And they need somebody who's been at the highest level to help them to get that. But I think Odisha, of course, clubs have to make choices, tough decisions sometimes to let go a player that has to be in the field and then go for a goalkeeper, which is a choice Odisha has made, I think, because of their style of play as well.
Yeah.
But I must say we have some very good hands in the country. Just to name a few, you have Gurpreet, you have Amrindan. They haven't been to the playoffs, just for nothing. And you have many more. You have Nawaz at Goa.
Arindam for ATK.
You have so many goalkeepers, and I think they can only build on that. And with the help of some of these goalkeeping coaches, they can help them, have a look at the way they train, and their matches and all that.
Yeah.
They can only get better. So that's it. But there was another question about Kerala Blasters, something like that.
I'm coming to the best question about Kerala Blasters, which is from Karthikeyan K, which says, what will be your rating for Manyapada? Because they're always there. They're always there. They travel away. They fill the stands up wherever you guys go.
What will be my rating? I must define them as simply staggering. They're staggering. And my rating, if I could give them 11, 11 over 10, I would do that, absolutely. Because it's hard. It's hard to come across a fan base like Manyapada. I remember the first game this season in the ISL where Rakip, our right fullback, our right wing back, he missed like a control, and you playing against, ATK, two times champions, and with the whole stadium, really, really packed. You will expect a kind of nervousness from them, that kind of edgy feeling.
Yeah.
But instead of being jumpy, all the crowds, all the fans, and especially the Manya player, they just started chanting his name. Rakib, they just started. So I was like, wow, it gave me chills actually, because this is a player that just missed the control, something that would have been really, very important for the team. And instead of probably booing him or, shouting cries of, disapproval, you just hear everyone chanting his name, which was something I found really, really unique. So Manya Para for me is just staggering.
That was the first match of the season as well. And,
First match of the season.
And you scored, what, 2 goals and just a winner? Just like routine for you to just do that?
Not a routine, not a routine, to be honest. Not a routine, to be honest. But yeah, I was able to get on the score sheet twice, had the victory, got a,
So fans helped you with that, just bouncing back from a goal down against the side.
Without them, wouldn't have been possible. Without them, wouldn't have been possible because I think we got off to an early goal against us. So you think what is in store for you. You still have about 80 minutes or more, to play, and what's in store for you. And you want to get off to a good start. You want to get the fans, with you all along. And before you know it, first chance, first, hit to the goal and first goal. So you ask yourself questions, but they just stood by us. They stood by us, and we kept on pushing, and we were able to get the equalizer. And afterwards, getting the winning goal was just an icing on the cake, not just for me, but for the whole team and for the whole fans. So that was fantastic.
Right. From fans to another fan favorite as we come closer to ending this session, Brad. There's a question from Hari Shankar about our Indians, and they want to talk about Sahal and the likes of Samuel. What has really stood out about these guys for you playing alongside them?
Great, fantastic. I've had so much fun playing alongside them at trainings, I must say. It's true that Samuel hasn't been able to take much part like he would have loved to, in games, but Samuel is a player to look out for in the future.
Yeah.
And Sahal, we know, is a hard worker. He works really, really very hard, even when he's having bad days, which is something that is one of his qualities that one has to really point out. And not to talk about the talent, he's just full of talent. Sahal is full of talent, but I think we all know beliefs, can affect our abilities. So with that much belief in him, and that confidence, like I said, Sahal could be the next Chhetri, to be honest. So I think we have two very amazing, really, really great players and great midfielders that we are yet to discover their full potential.
Yeah.
I just keep my fingers crossed for them that they should stay healthy, keep on working hard, and I'm sure, not just Kerala Blasters, but the Indian national team will have lots and plenty to be thankful for, as the years pass by, because they have two amazing players in Sahal and Samuel.
I'm sure you're grooming them and you're mentoring them right as well, so they'll only benefit from that experience. I've got one from Hainabi Shahul as we look to close. The toughest player you've played against this season?
The toughest I've been up against this season, I must say, is Mutarafal.
All right.
Mutarafal of FC Goa. Yeah, he's physical, he's quite fast, so you have to think quickly what you want to do, and you have to be ready to go, 110% for every challenge. You don't have any time to relax and think this one is going to be easy. Everyone is going to be tough for you. Aerial duels is going to be tough for you. On the ground also. So you have to know you're up against a very tough, scrappy defender, and you have to be up to the task. Otherwise, he could make you have a very, very bad night. So I must say this season it's been a Mutarafal of FC Goa.
But you've had a few good nights, and not just on the pitch, you've also joined the studio. So my final question to you today is, what's the punditry been like, and what's it been like giving stick to some of those experts who've been giving you stick all season long for not performing well enough, even though you scored 15 goals?
Listen, I'm also thankful. I'm also thankful that Star Sports thought about me, to join as one of the pundits, and it's been lovely. It's been lovely. It's been a very pleasant experience for me. I didn't know what to anticipate, what to think of at the start, but I was lucky enough to get off to, having Paul Macefield beside me, Russell, yourself, Igor Stimac. And I think they made it actually easy for me. At the start, you kind of feel a little bit, not jumpy because that's not in me, it's not part of me, but you want to get off to a good start, and it depends on the people you have around you.
Yeah.
And I think I've been lucky to have these, legends around me, and never mind the sticks they gave me.
Just keep scoring.
Sometimes I must tell you, some of the sticks they gave to me actually turned out to be motivational for me. They actually inspired me, and so now standing alongside them and doing the ISL, playoffs, and now the finals, and in a couple of days has been, a very, very pleasing experience, and really I'm thankful that they've been able to help me also to feel at ease and, been able to at least express myself the best way I can.
So you've expressed yourself very well in this Facebook Live session as well. Let's not forget, you've got to pick a favorite question today. You might not remember the name, that's okay. You can pick.
I don't remember the name, but the favorite question has to be the one concerning JJ Koch and Ronaldinho.
All right, okay. That was from Forza India Football Academy, I think. That was so that is your favorite question, which means they will get the signed match ball from you. So can I just ask you to pick up that pen, please, and sign this for them? Thank you so much, by the way, for all your questions to big Bartholomew Ogbeche. And I can assure you there's much more to come from him in the ISL. Would that be right to say?
Yeah, that would be right to say. Yeah, absolutely.
So that's exactly what the Kerala Blasters fans want to hear as well.
That would be right to say. The only thing is we have to wait to know where.
Yeah. So one day you're going to go live on Facebook yourself and you're going to announce it in terms of the date and time. Is that right, Bart? But thank you so much for this. Forza India Football, I think that they came up with a question about JJ Okocha and Ronaldinho, so they get this signed match ball. But it's been a pleasure and a privilege having you alongside us on not just in the studios, seeing you on the pitch and now on this Facebook Live session. Thank you for joining us. Thank you to all of you as well for all your questions.
Thank you.